Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 horror sequel, Terrifier 2. The film is written and directed by Damien Leone, and it stars Laura Lavera, David Howard Thornton, Elliot Fulham, Sarah Voigt, and Kaylee Hyman. Right, okay, this is the sequel to the first Terrifier that I reviewed recently on the channel. This time round, Art the Clown is resurrected and basically just goes on the rampage again. He targets a family. We've got Sienna and her younger brother Jonathan. They lost their father some time ago. He used to he kind of went a bit mad, but he kind of predicted Art the Clown. He also predicted that his daughter, Sienna, was going to kind of grow up and turn into this badass warrior and fight back against Art the Clown. Right, what are my thoughts on Terrifier 2? Well, it's difficult to know where to start with this one. As I said last week, if you like, when I watched the first Terrifier, that I'd never intended to watch these films because I thought they were violence and gore for violence and gore's sake. And I'm not one of these that likes that kind of horror. Now, don't get me wrong, I've changed my tune a little bit from after watching the first one. It was very entertaining, if a little bit over the top, and that's a bit of an understatement, but I did certainly enjoy it. Many people have kind of been commenting and saying that, you know, the second one is much better than the first one. Now, my initial reaction after finishing watching this was there was part of me that preferred the first one, the simplicity of the first one, if you like. Well, if that's not really an appropriate phrase, I suppose, but you know what I mean. It was like a smaller film with a simpler story. This one focuses a lot on like mythology and like religious symbolism and all this kind of stuff, and supernatural elements, and much of it doesn't. It felt quite odd. Like in the first one, he was just a homicidal maniac, it would seem, out to kill as many people as he could and have a good time while he were doing it. And then we learned at the end of the film, if you like, that there's something a little bit more supernatural about him. It explores that a little bit more in this film, but it kind of does it without a map. So you as an audience member don't really understand what's going on. So I was kind of left scratching my head a little bit. Parts of me while I was watching this was thinking, what have I missed? Have I missed something in the first film, or have I missed something in this film? Because I couldn't understand where all this mythology was coming from and how this Sienna was connected to Art the Clown and how their father was connected. And you know, she was dreaming about him, and then her wings in her bedroom that from this costume she was making would just burst into flames. And I'm just like, it got a little bit confusing. So for me, it kind of started off, it was kind of carrying a lot of baggage. And it had a lot of story to tell in this one. I mean, 2 hours and 18 minutes worth of story. I mean, for a slasher film, that is epic runtime, really. But once I kind of come to terms with like the mythology and stuff, and I did give it a little bit of thought afterwards. Like I said, my early reaction was I think I preferred the first one. But the more I think about this one kind of stays in your mind a little bit more. I think it's got a cracking final girl in regards to Sienna. She's absolutely brilliant, and she actually grounds the film in a really, really good way. The whole relationship with a brother and a mother, and you know, it stops the film from just being about a mad bastard dressed up as a crazy clown chopping people into small pieces. It really helps keep the film a little bit grounded. And she's absolutely great. Makes a real impact. And my understanding is she's returning for the third one as well. So I thought that was really good and a really good performance by her. And I never really felt that in the first one. They all just felt like meat bags in the first one that were going to get chopped. Yes, okay. The character presented in the first one that you thought was going to be the final girl, it was a bit of a shock when, spoilers if you haven't seen it, when she dies. But that was just basically the film making a statement that no one's actually safe. So that actually works in the favour of this one, because you never really feel that Sienna and her brother are safe, but it still doesn't change the fact that she's a very good character. And then we come to Art the Clown. Bless his little cotton socks. He's just fabulous in this film. The guy, David Howard Thornton, is such a good physical actor. There's so many brilliant scenes in this with him. The bit where he's in the costume shop, winding Sienna up behind her, we're putting the glasses on, and squeaking the thing, and just brilliant stuff. It felt quite improvised as well, some of it. And you see some of his facial expressions are just absolutely golden. I love the scene where he goes trick-or-treating to her friend's house. Is she called Ali? It's just fabulous. I mean, if anybody opened the door to him asking for trick-or-treats, I mean, you'd literally run a mile, and she barely blinks an eyelid the first time she sees him. Crazy stuff. And then we've got the bedroom scene, and anybody that has watched this will know what I mean. Is it on the same level as the hacksaw scene in the first one? Probably, because it lasts longer, and it is very, very cruel and mean-spirited. But it is somewhat else, really. I mean, there's quite a few kills in this. I'm not sure if memorable is the right word. Goddamn brutal and over the top is more appropriate. But I was, fully on board and fully behind this Sienna character. And like I say, I think at times the supernatural stuff and the mythology type stuff kind of threatened to kind of take over the film. The symbology and all this kind of stuff that's going on, and it's just like, I kept thinking, I hope this all kind of makes sense eventually, and it doesn't really. Who is this little clown girl? Is she the entity that gave him his supernatural abilities? What is she? Who is she? She seems to be like this supernatural entity. I'm really not really sure. Maybe the third one will give me the answers that we're seeking. I'm not really sure, but it shows, if you like, that he's trying to evolve the franchise, evolve the character, to kind of add layers to him, I suppose, Art the Clown. But it threatened, if you like, to derail some of the film, I think, this. So yes, it is a little bit long, I would say. I think they could have edited it a bit smarter. Of course, the kills are massively over the top and stomach churning at the same time, but it's got a pretty solid story, and it's got some memorable characters and a fantastic final girl in Sienna. So I did actually have quite a good time watching this one. Again, I'm not sure it's the right expression to say that I'm looking forward to seeing the third one, but I will definitely watch it now to make sure I give you guys my thoughts and feedback on that. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Terrifier franchise, what I've got in store with the third one if you've seen it, and I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.